Okay, this is just a brief summary of one idea that's been proposed for climate engineering on using cirrus clouds. It's been published in Environmental Research Letters, a special issue on that subject. And you can get all the details you want from that. This is just the paper. And basically it's making use of the fact that high thin cirrus clouds are, or thin to moderate, are having more of a long wave effect than a short wave effect. But most of the short wave radiation is forward scattered. The long wave is more trapped than the short wave is reflected. So the net effect is a cooling effect. I'm sure it's all old news. If you can remove some of the cirrus clouds, the ones that are the coldest, associated with higher supersaturations, you can possibly remove them by seeding them. Then you're letting more long wave radiation escape to space. So that the cirrus are playing a similar role to the greenhouse gases in regulating the long wave radiation and having less impact on the short wave. So this is, the idea would be to introduce very efficient ice nuclei into the upper troposphere where cirrus greenhouse effect and supersaturations are greater, especially colder than -40. We don't really know if homogeneous freezing more cirrus clouds in those supersaturated but clear regions, but then over time a new equilibrium would be established and this water vapor would be removed from those regions. So you dry out the upper troposphere more is the idea. So there's two effects, cirrus cloud coverage removal, reducing cloud coverage, but also reducing the water vapor in the clear sky. And the airline industry could be used to distribute the seeding material, that could cool globally by around -3 watts per square meter. That depends on whether they want to go along with risking, messing with their engines, or they could do the seeding material might shred their engines if they dose the fuel with it, or you might propose injecting it into the exhaust, but that's a lot of work maybe, so very controversial. Pros and cons, a GCM study suggests that the global cooling effect, by increasing the fall speeds a little bit by competition between heterogeneous and homogeneous freezing nucleation, such a competition effect could cool globally by around -3 watts per square meter, possibly greater. But this is all very speculative. But, evaluating this effect in GCMs would require a lot stronger knowledge of the real mechanisms up there. We don't really have a good handle on that nucleation mechanism. Is it time? It's time. Okay, so you can read the rest. The main thing is this is a very untested idea. It's just an idea.
Okay, thanks, David. So Alan is up next.
Well, we haven't had a definition of geoengineering so far. And I think my definition of geoengineering is just about what the world is going to do now. The IMO, International Maritime Organization, is going to remove most of the sulfur from fuel oil. So 4.5% to 0.5%. The aerosols no longer produced will produce a global warming effect of 0.3 watts per meter squared. Okay, 0.3 watts. So that is what geoengineering is. My idea is we're doing it all the time. Now, I'm going to talk about cloud brightening. So what I want to talk about is this idea. There's a pretty picture on the right there. It's nothing to do with geoengineering really, it's just a pretty picture, but it shows you the clouds that can be generated, and that's from wind turbines. So what we wish to do is to try a small experiment to look at the injection of natural seawater droplets from the ocean surface underneath marine stratocumulus. And here, if we look at this is the Bay of Biscay. It's a well-known plot produced by Phil Lash, And here you can see this area, it's whiter there, the optical thickness there, and the effective particle radius there, and this indicates that the effective particle radius is smaller, then you get whiter clouds. So what is the support of this idea? It's natural, it can be switched off, and ship tracks provide similar evidence. So this slide, and I've put a lot of words on this slide because it's probably available to you afterwards, that the cloud whitening effect, appears under solar radiation management, and this came from the Nature paper by Latham in 1990. Injection of 0.8 micron sized particles. So the main thrust of what we're doing at the moment is to look at LES modelling, discussion of the effects, climate modelling, and drafting plans, and other people in the room know far more about it than I do on that, for limited area experiments.